This week on Hoosier News Source, after the death of senior Hannah Wilson, hundreds gathered to honor her.
Plus, we've got all things Little 5, everything from arrests to coverage of the men's and women's races.
And are you getting tired of sitting? Neil Headland tells us what you can do to keep your energy up even when you need to be at your desk. Hi, thanks for joining us this week on Hoosier News Source. I'm Molly Jurasek.
And I'm Adam Cohen. First, we have updates for you on the tragic murder of IU senior Hannah Wilson. Wilson was a 22-year-old psychology major set to graduate in May. She was found dead in Brown County early Friday morning after some of her Gamma Phi Beta sisters reported her missing on Thursday night.
The Brown County coroner confirms she died from blunt force trauma to the back of her head, hit about 4 times. The probable cause affidavit says police arrested 49-year-old Daniel Messel of Bloomington on Friday. They say they found Messel's cell phone near Wilson's body, linking him to the scene. Police say when they located Messel at his home, he was taking a garbage bag full of clothes outside and also had claw marks on his arms. Blood and a clump of long black hair was also found in his car. Messel was incarcerated at the Brown County Jail late Friday night, charged with murder. Bloomington police released a separate statement to announce the launch of an investigation on Messel's possible involvement in the disappearance of Lauren Spearer back in 2011.
And after speculation, an Uber spokesman said there's no connection between Messel and Uber. Spokeswoman Brooke Anderson says they've never hired a driver named Daniel Messel in the Bloomington area. She says Uber performs background checks on all drivers prior to employment. In the probable cause affidavit released Monday by the Brown County Circuit Court, witnesses say Wilson entered a green and white colored taxi outside of Kilroy Sports Bar. Witnesses say Wilson paid for the cab fare curbside and told the driver the address of her Bloomington home. That's the last known account from witnesses about Wilson's well-being.
Hannah Wilson was known and loved by hundreds of IU students and the surrounding community. That's why it didn't take long for loved ones to rally a ceremony in her honor. I was at Hannah's balloon release, and the amount of support is something you just have to see to understand.
There are no words after Sisters of Gamma Phi Beta sorority released balloons in remembrance of their friend, IU student Hannah Wilson. Thousands gathered to remember Hannah at Indiana Memorial Union on a rainy Saturday evening. Despite the weather, tons of students overflowed from several entrances to the IMU to hear sisters from Gamma Phi speak about their friend. Everyone entered in silence. Media wasn't allowed inside Alumni Hall during the vigil. Meanwhile, 2 seniors and some of Hannah's best friends shared some words about her life. Then a third friend closed the vigil with a funny story. Afterwards, the crowd gathered in Dunn Meadow to watch as Gamma Phi sisters and loved ones released purple and green balloons in Hannah's memory. Those were her favorite colors. Hannah's death is a tragedy, and all you have to do is look at the faces of her supporters to know how much she's loved.
IU's president, Michael McRobbie, provost Lauren Robel, and spokesman Mark Land have publicly expressed their condolences over the loss of Hannah Wilson. Her sister, Haley, plans to attend IU in the fall. And Margaret Hensley, IU's president of the Pan-Hellenic Association, set up a memorial fund for Haley's first-year tuition here. That's $24,000 in-state. She hopes it will make her feel welcome here at IU. And so far, the fund has over $15,000. You can find that link to the fund on Hannah's story at iustv.com.
5 shots were fired during a fight over the weekend. State police say while troopers were patrolling on foot Saturday morning, they noticed a fight break out in a parking lot across Memorial Stadium on Dunn Street and heard 3 gunshots. While they made their way to attempt to stop the fight, police say 2 more shots were fired. They arrested Lawrence Gomes of Indianapolis on several charges, including pointing a loaded firearm and criminal recklessness with a deadly weapon. He was taken to Monroe County Jail. No civilians or officers were hurt.
Police were working overtime this weekend to try to make Little 500 as safe as possible for everyone. State Police tells IUS-TV between Friday and Saturday, they issued 53 traffic tickets, more than 120 traffic warnings, 3 OWI arrests, and 25 criminal arrests. IU police case logs show campus offenses between Thursday and Sunday. Reports indicate 32 alcohol-related offenses, 12 marijuana-related offenses, and 1 reported rape. Still to come on Hoosier News Source, long hours at your desk wearing you down. We'll tell you how you can get more energy during your workday.
But first, we'll have all your Little 5 coverage right after the break.
Catch your favorite band from the Windy City this week on What's Up Weekly for an exclusive sit-down with the members of Rod Tough Curls at the Bench Press. Known for their lively performances covering your favorite jams from Queen, DuckTales, and Hall & Oates. Catch up on their epic life stories before they return for graduation weekend. Hold on to your caps and gowns, kids.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
What's Up Weekly?
This year's men's race was unlike any other after Hannah Wilson's death. Every cyclist made sure her life was honored. HNS reporter Anna Fagan shows us what cyclers did to remember her.
During this year's greatest college weekend, a cloud hung over Bloomington after the death of 22-year-old Hannah Wilson.
But despite the excitement of the weekend, the tragedy did not go unnoticed. All teams decorated their bikes with these green and purple tags in honor and memory of Hannah Wilson.
By request of Hannah's mother, Little 500 supporters added purple and green to their race day attire, but racers themselves were quick to show their support.
Chris Craig, who's on Riders Council, Riders for Beta, brought it up that we should do it, and everyone thought it was just a great idea to let Hannah and her family know that we're thinking about her and that we were riding for her today.
A moment of silence was held for Hannah before the race commenced. Riders and spectators grew still, hanging on the words of Provost Lauren Robel as they remembered Hannah in front of a crowd of hundreds.
I was honored to be a part of such a big organization or university, just coming together to support the loss of someone that so many people cared about.
Goes to her family and to the many students, staff, and faculty who taught her.
The winner of this year's men's Little 5, Sigma Phi Epsilon, racking up their 3rd overall win. And during this Little 500, a rookie team made a name for themselves. 3 Parks Hooligans, also known as 3PH, entered the ring as a serious competitor.
We were pretty excited about the race to begin with, but we saw that it was just a huge community and how big of a deal it was, and we knew that before we graduated that we had to be a part of it.
They achieved their goal of staying on the lead during the entire race and finished in 8th place. They say they plan to return next year with the support of a growing fan base.
If you would have watched us after the race, we would have thought we won, but I mean, we're just excited because we know we have a bright future and that we're going to be with that sprinter next year.
We got a whole summer's worth of training.
Veteran riders acknowledged 3PH's success and congratulated the team after the race. All say they're looking forward to seeing what the team brings next year.
Sophomore Sarah Rivich takes biking very seriously. You have to when you're a rookie rider in the Little 500. Typically, rookies start training years in advance before getting to ride in the race. Rivich, it took her just a matter of months. But what makes Rivich not your typical rookie? She has a special reason to ride, her cousin Michael. Michael passed away last August in an ATV accident, and his spirit has been with Rivich ever since. From writing his initials MSK on her wrist before every practice to wearing an old shirt of his during warm-ups, Michael will always be her driving force and motivation. Rivich says she feels Michael looking down on her and that she thinks he's proud.
You know, maybe saying like, that's my cousin, like, you know, like he was so always proud of me, like would always text me. I mean, he was shocked when I didn't play sports in college, but you know, he's probably happy that I'm doing this.
Taking home the trophy for the women this year is back-to-back winning team, Kappa Alpha Theta.
It's also their 6th win of all time, making them the most successful team out of all the women. So they got a biking dynasty brewing there down on Woodlawn.
Yeah, well, you know, girls rule, come on. And it was pretty nice that they moved the men's race over to Sunday as well, because I think it would have been not as good of a turnout with the weather on Saturday.
Yeah, you don't want to be racing in the rain, so I'm glad they got a nice, beautiful day on Sunday.
Yep. In April, more than 2,000 police officers volunteered for a different approach to interact with Bloomington's homeless population. HNS reporter Kate O'Rourke tells us what these officers are doing to help and understand the homeless.
Bloomington's downtown resource officers think there is a better solution for homelessness than incarceration.
At least they're waving to us, you know what I mean? At least they're acknowledging us, and they're, you know, we're trying to acknowledge them, and I mean, going with a more approach of trying to help them, you know, instead of not waving, not being friendly.
They direct homeless people to local services and away from drugs and alcohol. Known among the homeless population as the White Shirts, these officers patrol the downtown and Beeline Trail areas. They look for people who are intoxicated, harassing others, or dealing with medical issues.
We're starting to build this network of support for homeless people so that we can get them the services they need, so that we can maybe help impact their lives and maybe change them.
During the day, homeless people can come to the Shalom Community Center for shelter and resources. The organization provides emergency services for its guests who survive and thrive. Guests have access to counseling, housing, and employment programs. The program targeted the 50 homeless people that habitually cause the most problems. After 1 year, the arrest rate has been cut in half, the number of service calls by the homeless have been cut in half, and the amount of emergency room visits is down 30%. The officers help the homeless get jobs and have friendly encounters with them.
I always wanted to be a respectable person, taxpaying citizen. I always wanted to be that. And I kind of, in the last half a year, gotten a taste of it, and it tastes good. Feels good.
And all it took was an officer to point Patton in the right direction. For Hoosier News Source, I'm Kate O'Rourke.
Chief Diekoff created this program after studying similar initiatives in other communities. He says he tailored it to fit Bloomington's needs and is satisfied with its progress so far.
How many hours a day do you spend sitting? Well, an IU study suggests that sitting for long periods of time can actually be bad for your health. Here's HNS reporter Neil Hedlund.
Americans spend more than half their waking hours sitting, and even though it doesn't take a lot of energy to stay sedentary, it can actually take a lot out of you.
I'd never worked in a job where I just sat at a desk all day long, and so after a few months I noticed that I was just feeling restless. I really like to be active. I like to ride my bike to work, so I just found that sitting for 8 or 9 hours a day just didn't feel great.
And it's not good for your health either. Indiana University conducted a study last year comparing those who sat for 3 hours straight to those who got up and walked every hour for 5 minutes. The results found that those who sat for 3 hours showed impairments in endothelial function, an early sign of cardiovascular disease.
So just that 5 minutes of walking was actually protecting you from getting a decrease with the sitting time.
So if less sitting is better for you, you might want to try one of these. Like Canopin Marketing in Bloomington. They've had standing desks for almost 2 years now.
You can actually have it be situated any way that you're comfortable with. So for example, on days when I'm wearing heels, I have it higher, but if I need it lower the next day, I can do it lower.
And employees have been noticing the results.
Being on my feet, I feel like it keeps my blood flowing, it keeps me more alert and more active, so yeah. And then when I go home, I don't feel like I need to sit down once I get home or anything like that. I feel like I actually am ready to keep going with my day.
Neil Hedlund, Hoosier News Source.
Wow, Neil, that was really good stuff to know. I must say that if you've ever had a Netflix binge day where you're really tired and you just want to sit around, I actually feel more tired than if I would have just gotten up and done something.
Yeah, I still struggle with just staying in my bed and laying down, so I need to go from laying down to sitting and now just standing up, so I have a long way to go.
Yeah, well, we'll get there. And well, since it's our senior year, we will be saying goodbye after this show, including ourselves and some other seniors, and we wanted to send everyone off properly by recognizing our seniors and their contributions.
Take a look at this short slideshow for our seniors.
That was really sweet to see what everyone's doing and get a glimpse at everyone's faces one more time.
Yeah, it'll be sad to see everyone go. I know we have a lot of talented seniors moving on like ourselves, And I think we're leaving it in good hands. I have confidence in the rest of the people that are going to be taking over for all of us, but we have so many people, cameramen, reporters, writers, and that make this all go, and especially your help, Molly, as our fearless leader. I know that you have a bright future.
Thank you, Adam. I know that you do too. And it's been a pleasure working with everybody, and I'll miss it very much in my future endeavors. And make sure, though, that you catch our last episode of What's Up Weekly this week. So we still have more iOS TV content to come.
That's all we have for you on our last newscast of this semester. But remember, you can still keep in touch with us on iOS TV. Tweet us at Hoosier NW Source and like our Facebook page, iOS TV News.
You can also head over to our website, iostv.com, to find previous newscasts and updates to stories. Also, again, don't forget to join Elizabeth and I for our last episode of What's Up Weekly later this week.
From all of us here at iOS TV News, thanks for watching. It's been a pleasure bringing you the news of Indiana University and the surrounding community. Good luck on finals, and have a fun and safe summer.